Well, welcome to our latest Take a Seat interview. It's brilliant to have Graham Huband on. But now he's got many hats, but I'm just going to say from DC Thomson's, and probably that does not do justice to what you do and your role there. But that's where we're going to start, Graham. So thank you so much for coming on and taking part and getting interviewed by us. Tell us a little bit more about you and what you do.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me on. So my new role is I'm the managing editor for Dundee of DC Media, which is the overarching brand over the Courier and the Evening Telegraph, and also in Aberdeen, the Press and Journal and the Evening Express. But that's not where I started. That's where I've ended up. I started out as a cub reporter, trying to understand my trade 24 years ago, which scares the horses out of me.
When you were just 5.
When I was just 5, indeed, and I spent a good number of years trying to understand the journalism and the trade as it is, and then one of the roles I then took on a few years ago, which I'm sure some of the chamber members know me from, was business editor, and I spent a number of years as the Courier's business editor. Then I went on to become deputy editor of the Courier, and latterly, most recently, into this managing editor role. So that's my background.
And I'm asking everybody that comes on these interviews most of the same questions. And the next one is just, can you tell us what you like best about what you do? Is there a story to that?
Oh, honestly, I just like the diversity of it all, the fact that everything changes every day, and I don't really know what's coming down the line for me. I'm not the world's greatest project planner over 6 months a year. That's not my bag. I've worked the deadlines for, as I say, pretty much quarter of a century. So I like to work quickly and to work to different, to different drum beats. Recently, as I say, I've got this new managing editor role, but I'm still involved in the papers day to day. And recently, I've had to take on a wee bit of farming editor role, and I'm doing some comment editing this week just to fill in gaps where they happen. So that's the fact that we've got huge kind of broad scope to what we do, and that we don't know from minute to minute sometimes what how our day is going to pan out. That's the thing that excites me, and that's the thing that has always kind of drawn me back to journalism. That, and obviously speaking to people, and developing relationships and understanding the problems and the challenges that people face day to day, and seeing sometimes if we can do something about them, taking those challenges that people face and being positive and trying to affect change in society. So that's really what I've always loved about the job.
Brilliant. And in our interviews, we're obviously kind of learning a bit more about people's day job and kind of their role as well. But I'm also asking random questions just because I'm quite interested in the answers we're getting on it. So the next one is absolutely in that wheelhouse. So what is your favourite time of year and why?
Favourite time of year and why? I've got two rather than one. I really like spring. Because you see, you do have that classic, thing that the grass is getting greener and we're coming out. But I also like autumn. But it's probably more personal than that. It's the fact that in spring and autumn you tend not to boil or freeze. So I'm a Peely Wally Scotsman. And the temperatures of the last week have kept me indoors whether we had lockdown or not. So yeah, I'm more I can enjoy myself a little more outside in spring and autumn.
And we've been doing this series for a long time now. It's well over a year and a half. And we started off, so my questions kind of started off when we were really in the first lockdown and we were experiencing restrictions. But I'm still interested because we're not fully out of our restrictions at the moment. So what is the thing that you're missing most about, you know, when we're in lockdown and when we've got restrictions? What's that thing that's kind of annoys you?
Well, there's quite. It's difficult to put you know, your nail on, you know, the hammer on one particular nail here. It's been frustrating. It's been difficult. It's been challenging. But every business, if with those challenges in front of it, if they manage to make it work, which we have, then they're doing something right. So when we went initially into lockdown in March last year, it was all out of the offices, buying hundreds of Teams licenses to try and facilitate home working, trying to find the space in the house to work, you know, and organise yourself. And then look at the challenges of building a newspaper, both digitally and in print. And how do we do that when we're not sat next to each other and we're not having those casual conversations and we're not having those quick time, you know, at the coffee stop, we'll do this, we'll pick this up, we'll do that. All those challenges immediately came to the fore. And one of my favourite things about the whole lockdown experience is that we found we can do it. We found pretty good rhythms in how we go about producing, you know, the content that we need to build our website and to build a newspaper as well. And we found that the one key that we needed to unlock that door, more than anything else, more than any other challenge, was communication and ensuring that we could keep the channels of communication open and keep talking to each other. So things take a little longer. They're a bit messier sometimes when we have internet crashes and all the rest of it. But if we, you know, by keeping focused, we managed to walk through the lockdown. The other thing that's helped us, initially in lockdown, was that we, as journalists, had key worker status. So we were able to continue to operate, not as we had been before, but we were able to continue to operate and to continue to speak to people and go about our job to bring those stories of our communities to the fore. So. Yeah, there was lots of challenges with lockdown, but as ever, these things also present opportunities, and that's something we've tried to take.
Yeah, God, it's super interesting, isn't it? When we look back, and I think we're all already kind of looking back and looking at what's happened, but you absolutely forget some of those things. I mean, I can remember, I think it was a TV journalist getting a really hard time at the side of the road for being out of the house, and you know, actually they're there doing their job. And I think that's that is going to be something that we are going to, and I think customer service wise, people are experiencing much more angry customers at the moment as we're coming out of this lockdown, and people are just getting very frustrated. But it's not fair when people are just doing their job that they're legally allowed to do. So
I mean, you certainly see that in, you know, this isn't a journalistic point or a DCT media point, but you certainly see that when you go about your kind of daily lives and you go back into a pub for the first time or you go to a restaurant for the first time, and there is an air of frustration and that you see. But I think that's a certain level. I think people also understand why things take a little longer, and you know, why there are, you know, things aren't exactly the same as they were before. So, you know, these things are easy peasy that for the good, for the bad, there will also be the good as well. And you know, hopefully we'll continue to go on that curve rather than a downward curve.
Definitely. So the other thing that I'm just talking to everybody about is the changes that you've seen in your business. So what have you got a standout change that's happened within your business since the pandemic hit?
Yeah, very much so, and it was our change was kind of going to come down the roads anyway. We're a traditional print business, and if you look at the Courier and the Evening Telegraph and the Press and Journal and the Evening Express, then which is immediately my focus within the wider DCT business, but we're a legacy print business, and it's no surprise to anyone that circulations of print newspapers have fallen over the years, and that's a massive concern to me, but it may not be a massive concern to you. But what we've tried to do is, we need to accept that that's the situation, but we didn't want to accept defeat and just to manage decline. I think that's the worst phrase anybody's ever said to me in my time as a journalist. Let's just manage this decline. So what we did was we set out to completely reinvent our ways of working and completely reinvent our business model whilst working under a pandemic, which had its own certain challenges. So what we've done is we've launched a programme within DCT Media. Not the wider business also has its own transformation model ongoing as well, which I can speak about. But within DCT Media, we launched a programme called Apollo, and that was to basically reinvent the wheel and reinvent everything we did from ground up. So it included redeploying staff into new digital first roles. It included taking the likes of me and actually making me and my other kind of colleagues rethink what we were doing and how we went about providing content. And ultimately, the model is to build a really strong digital subscription base around the Courier, around the Press and Journal, and other titles. And to start building anew rather than managing decline. We've had a really successful start to that, but we're only in the foothills of that project. So the redeployment element of it took place over the tail end of last year and the start of this year, and then we went live with the project in March in Dundee. The P&J and the Evening Express followed a few weeks later. And we are now concentrating wholly our time and our efforts on building those incredibly high quality pieces of content that people want to consume online, but also want to consume and want to enjoy in print. So we are definitely still newspapers, and we'll continue to print newspapers, but we are also a digitally focused business now. Not just one element of that, which was not a part of the newsroom before we went down this road, is we really are embracing data and are looking at audience trends and looking at what our audience actually want from us rather than what we think our audience want from us. And that has provided me with some home truths, because I've edited a paper edited some papers for a long time, and ultimately of an evening it was my decision what went on the front page. And the thought process within that was, I think this is a great story. Alison, on the flip side, you might not have thought it was a great story, and it might not play to your needs. So what we're doing is trying to bring in much greater insight into what we're doing, much greater analysis into what we're doing, and building the content for our audience that our audience wants, rather than the other way around. So it's putting our readers and the people who will ultimately subscribe to our platforms, putting them at the heart of what we're doing and making sure that they're always kept at the heart of what we're doing. So huge change for us, huge change.
That's really fascinating, isn't it? Because that takes away a bit of that gut instinct, that thing where you know your craft, your front page or what your readers are going to like, and then takes that very much into data-driven decisions. Yeah, fascinating.
The way we've looked at that particular aspect of it is, actually, we don't want to remove gut instinct from our journalists. We don't want to do that. That's not what we're doing. So if we think there's something really worth pursuing, we will pursue it. But what we're trying to do is also do a kind of melting pot and meld that instinct, that real gut. There's something there to go and get our teeth into, but also looking at how we present it and what platforms we're presenting it on, and how we're so if a story hasn't flown for whatever reason, is it because we're not presenting it in the right way to the audience? If we think there's something, a really good story there, is it simply we've provided it in just text form, and that's not enough? We need to bring in data, we need to bring in video, we need to bring in audio, we need to bring in all these different platforms. We need to bring in better images and better video. Then that's us starting to build, and that's us starting to use the insight that our audience are telling us to build better content for them. And that's how we're going about it. What we don't want to do is take away instinct, because what we want to enhance the tools our journalists have.
And does somebody have a very wicked sense of humour in your business that renames projects? Because did it start with somebody saying, "Houston, we have a problem"?
No. I'm not actually sure of the actual genesis of it. But Apollo, yeah, it seemed to land and stay with us for the duration. So
I love it.
Yeah, there's been a lot of kind of space and star-based funds and all the rest of it along the way. So yeah.
Yeah, well, what a nice segue you've just given me into my next question. So, what does the future hold in your business?
So, in terms of the media news business that I'm directly involved in, what we want to really build that kind of subscription base that we spoke about. We'll really put a kind of focus on that, and we've invested kind of heavily in resources and new platforms and all sorts of things to do that. The wider business, the wider DC Thomson business is something that it's like a Russian doll. There's so many aspects to it, so there's so many layers in there. But the wider business itself is undergoing a kind of transformation program at the moment as well. So they launched it in 2020, 5-year kind of horizon to really build a data-led or a data rich kind of subscription model-based business. But each of the different elements of the DC Thomson kind of corporate, in terms of the wider corporate structure, each of them have their own strategy for investment and for building. And what we're trying to do here is take a business that's been around for more than a century and ensure it's bulletproof for another century at least. And that's not easy. That's not a quick change, especially in something that's quite as large as this business is. But it's also something that's quite exciting and a hell of a challenge. And if we get it right, we'll have the 17-year-old me that walked in the door will have many generations down the line of 17-year-olds coming through the doors and actually having an exciting career ahead of them, which is really what we want to do.
Yeah. And when we are more freely able to get out and about, what's top of your lockdown escape bucket list?
Ooh, personally, I've always so. I think the honest truth is we're Scotland bound for a little while. I would suggest. I've not really looked at going abroad, but I've never done the Outer Hebrides and the Outer Isles. I've pretty much been everywhere else in Scotland, but I've never done the Outer Hebrides, never done Orkney or Shetland. So I'd really like to get up there and do just take some relaxation time at the Harris Gin Distillery and enjoy the beach there. But yeah, I'd be quite happy with that.
It's absolutely stunning, isn't it? Yeah, I think, you know, and almost worse at the moment because so many people are being forced into all these stunning corners. So your social media is full of pictures of places you go, oh, I wish I was there.
Yeah. I saw someone the other night when I'm on Bernery. So I'll have to look that up on a map if I'm being absolutely honest with you.
Yeah.
I've always had an inkling and a kind of personal inkling that one day I will buy one of those crofts and I will, you know, go and tend the land and build up a wreck from, you know, 300 years ago and rebuild it. It's one of those personal kind of dreams that I've got. So.
I'm with you about, I've been to a few, but not nearly enough of the islands, and, you know, landing on the beach at Barra in a Logan airplane, that's definitely got to be a thing you do before, you know, you're too old to do it.
I did. Well, I'm getting there, but I definitely would love to do that. That's I've done a number that more that in our islands actually, but I've never been further afield, and that's a box that needs ticked.
Totally, yeah, and I hear you on Harris gin. It's one of the yummiest gins that's out there. So yeah, and that's a nice part of it.
The problem with it is that they then try and sell you a Harris tweed suit at a huge amount of money, and you go home penniless at the end of the night.
And stunning gin glasses to match your bottles and all of that. Yeah, you're a sucker, but it is what it is.
They do it really well, and fair play to them. So
absolutely. What is the best piece of advice you've ever received, and why?
It's one that I don't often. I suppose it's one I don't often enough actually adhere to. But I think you often get the best advice from your granny or your mother at the knee. And I was told when I was a bairn to think before I speak. As you know, Alison, I speak a lot, and sometimes I don't quite stand up to it, but it's a pretty good piece of advice, especially in a business context. That actually it's worth taking, you know, just that extra few minutes. It's usually in our context, in a newspaper's context. It's usually in minutes rather than hours and days and weeks. But it's worth taking those extra kind of few minutes just to actually think about what we're doing here, what we're trying to do here, and what we're hoping to achieve, and not jumping in immediately. So yeah, I think it's good advice. I sometimes don't take it.
I like it though. That is a really good one. If you had a message for people out there about the things you've learned yourself about the world of work and business, what would it be?
Take the opportunities that I don't know. I think it would be pursue the opportunities that you want to pursue. Is probably would probably be my thought on that. We spend so much time at work and you know, earning a corn, as it were, that the last thing you want to do is be miserable doing it. And really find it difficult to get out of your bed, and really find it, you know, just the day you look clock watching and all these things. So find the thing that floats your boat and pursue it. I found 20 odd years ago that I loved talking to people, and they tended to like talking to me. I still enjoy that. I still enjoy building those kind of relationships, but also speaking to people kind of from a journalistic point of view. And it always has kind of floated my boat. And right now, the digital kind of transformation project is a big, scary project for me, because it takes everything. It takes the rug from under my feet that I know pretty well, and I'm having to really think about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. But that at the centre of that is an exciting. At the centre of that, we're still trying to do the things that engaged me in journalism in the first place. We're trying to speak to people on a really positive manner and really build high quality content. And that still fires. That gets me out of my bed in the morning. That still fires my enthusiasm. There's nothing worse than somebody that's not happy in their work because they won't be productive. They will they will put themselves through personal hell, and at the end of the day, it's going to come to a crashing end anyway. So find the thing that really floats your boat and pursue it.
Yeah, again, that's I love that. I think, you know, I similarly to what you've just described, I think the thing that I really enjoy is kind of just meeting lots of different people and getting the chance to develop relationships. And these interviews help me kind of get a little bit under the skin of people. You don't always get the chance to hear some of this. So I always say that like you just have to love what you do. And I definitely think I've got the best job, but yours sounds pretty good too.
Well, I mean, I will always take my hat off to DCT, and this is going to sound very brown nosery, but it's not really. I'll take my hat off to them because there was always a support there for me. It was like joining or being part of a family. And they've also always invested in me and invested in my career as well. So I've been able to take that, I like doing this, I don't really know what I'm doing, pursue, get myself to a place where I think I was doing a good job, and then moving to the next level. And there's always been that opportunity to grow within that business, and I think that's really, really important, because stagnating within your career is a difficult thing as well. And yeah, the wider DCT business is, to my mind, is kind of, I've been asked many times, why have I not left Dundee and to pursue my career in journalism, and I've had offers to go elsewhere and pursue my career in journalism, but I found a business on day one, I didn't know it at that time, that actually kind of chimed with me and let me, have that chance to go and grow and build. And and it happened to be on my doorstep, and that was pure coincidence and pure luck from my point of view. But the reason I haven't gone elsewhere is because I really enjoy what I do and where I do it as well.
Yeah, that's fab. That's just, I think you find a place that lets you develop and grow,
yeah.
and that's a really good thing. So yeah, they're on a winner, but you're on a winner too. I like that.
Yeah.
It's a win-win.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, thank you so much for kind of getting involved and being so good and answering all my questions. But how do people get in touch with you if they fancy a chat, Graham?
Oh, numerous ways. I'll chat anybody's ear off at any time. I suppose my contact details are in the newspaper on page 2 every single day. They're on the Courier's website every single day, so you can go and get them. I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn, all the rest of it. If you can't find me in Dundee, then you're not looking very hard. I don't think. So yeah,
I think that's a true story.
There you go.
Brilliant. Well, thank you as ever, Graham. It's been brilliant having you on and just kind of hearing a little bit more about what you do. And I absolutely, like you, have got huge admiration for what's going on at DC Thomson's, and just that, it's bucking the trend, I think, in terms of what media is doing and trying to achieve. It's fabulous.
We really shouldn't on DCT we often in Scotland are self-deprecating, and we often don't blow our own trumpet. But actually, this business that I'm part of, happen to be part of, actually is an incredible business, and it's an incredible business that's been generating wealth and opportunity for people in this area for generations now. And if we get right what we're trying to do, it will continue to do so for generations, and that's our challenge just now. I would love to say thanks very much for taking the time to have a conversation with me. It's been fun. It's been a pleasure, and I know you guys are going through your own digital transformation just now, and so very best with the new site, and I hope people engage with it and really take it on and use the facilities, because the chamber is the Chamber's been part of my life for a long time as well, and it's part of the building blocks of the business community in the city, and I wish it well, and I hope people really do engage with you as much as possible.
Thank you very much. Well, if you are watching this back, you'll have seen us on YouTube, which was a relatively new thing for us, even not that long ago. And you may be seeing this on some of our social media channels or the website itself. So please take a moment to kind of have a look at some of the other videos, but we will also put some links for finding Graham on some of those sites the DC Thomson media sites. They'll be in the conversation and the detail of the video anyway. So they will find you if they can't.
Yeah,
page 2, you heard it here first. He was on page 2, he said.
Page 2, bottom left, you'll see me there. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.